Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cheyenne Blue. I like to talk about everything Lake County related and real estate related, light and dark. If you like videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Today we're going to talk about a topic that has been really prominent in the community lately, housing scams, as well as how to avoid them. Recently, I had to reach out to a landlord whose property had been used in a scam. It had been posted up on Facebook and there were a lot of inquiries on it. The profile seemed a little weird. It was a newly developed profile and it had a picture of an older guy with a kid, so I mean it looks like it would be harmless, right? No. Always click on the profile for one. Well, I ended up doing a little bit of research and I tracked down the homeowner who I got down to my office. Person had no relation with the guy at all, and the profile actually ended up getting taken down. This landlord actually did have the property listed on another site, but it was a 3-bedroom where the one on Facebook said that it was only a 1-bedroom. So people, when they were researching the address of the property, they were finding his phone number and calling him up and chewing him out saying, "Oh, you scam me, blah, blah, blah," when the poor guy had nothing to do with it. This is just one example of many housing scams that have been going on, and it's not just here, it's everywhere. So I thought it would be really important for me to do a video on educating you guys about what to look out for when it comes to looking for rentals, looking for housing in general, and also if you're a homeowner. So I'm going to make this a multi-part series, and I'm going to address scams that go on for buyers, homeowners, home sellers, and of course today's rentals. If you're interested in looking for rentals, just know I am not a rental agent. However, my company does have a property management department that I am more than happy to get you connected with. Now let's get into this. First off, if they only want to deal with cash, that's a red flag. The most popular way of performing shady transactions is them saying that they want to work with cash only. And the reason why it's so desirable for them is because money, real money, is hard for people to track down, and they can just say, "Oh, these people aren't telling the truth. There was no cash transaction. They never gave us any money." Where if they end up having to deposit it into an account, then it's actually traceable and can be traced back to the person. So once they've gotten your money for your new exciting home, then they have the opportunity to skip town with the cash and not a trace. An actual landlord can aim to scam you if they always insist on paying cash only. And if you refuse, they'll simply move on to the next tenant. Again, huge red flags. Sometimes can they be legit? Yeah. But a lot of the time, big red flag. And always remember that such things as a security deposit or paying the last month up front should never involve cash or wire transfers. They are constantly becoming a part of rental scams. 2, never rent without looking at the actual place. Never, never, never. Every tenant should go and check out the place that they plan to rent before ever signing anything or giving over any money, period. If your landlord gives excuses to why you can't view the property yet, be very, very careful dealing with them. You can end up either renting a property that isn't legit or getting into a rental that isn't livable. Any landlord or property manager that is ready to rent out a place typically has the place ready to show and able to show that it looks like what is in the pictures. That is why I highly, highly suggest to always request a viewing and make sure that the property condition is up to your standards. This also goes for people that do need to relocate to another city while working on the relocation. Even in this situation, you need to make sure that you have somebody you trust go out and look at it and make sure that it is good for you, whether it be a family member, a possible coworker, or a friend. Even though some scammers may even have access to the property, insisting on a house tour is a huge step to a more transparent rental process. 3, always sign a written lease. The only form of a lease that you should ever consider is a written one. Even if the landlord is somebody that you know and trust, a verbal agreement most of the time does not hold up in court. And you would be surprised what happens in the world of real estate. The reason behind this is simple. Even though it's legal in some states, it's difficult to uphold in any cases of disputes or disagreements. If you end up deciding to seek legal help or take your case to court, it's going to be a huge headache. You also want to make sure that with your written lease that it is signed by both you and the landlord in person, verified. Make sure that you verify that the landlord is the person that has the property, and also that both of you get copies of it. And I would even suggest to have 2 copies on hand just to be safe. These 2 things will make it much easier and much safer for you. But I am going to go into more about the contracts and the paperwork and what you want to look for. 4. Now, I already said to make sure to verify the property owner, and I just want to make that more clear. Make sure that you verify the property owner. Now, there are different ways that you can achieve this. You can go to your county records office and find out there. You can go onto white pages, and I don't remember if you have to pay a fee in order to do the reverse lookup for the addresses, but I do know that you can look up an address and find out who the property owner is that way. And then another option that you have is if you do have a friend in real estate or somebody that you know, they can also look up the property owner for you and find out who it is. 5. Make sure that your lease identifies the property owner. Your lease should include the actual property owner's name. You can verify that with the lookup that I suggested in the last one, and then also verify through their ID, have the landlord present their ID. This way you can ensure that the property is rented out legally. If someone is presenting themselves as working for the owner or that they're a trustee, make sure that they provide documents to prove so. This also applies to properties that have more than one owner. Make sure that the other owners to the property get you written documentation saying that they know that you're renting out the property and that they agree to it. 6. Subletting is not always a great idea. Subletting can be one of the most difficult and dangerous things that you can get yourself into. Checking to see if the original tenant has rights to sublet can be incredibly hard, and you never really know if you are 100% okay and that you're not becoming a victim to a rental scam. Most important thing about subletting is that you cannot feel secure about it due to the original agreement. The landlord can evict you both if it is forbidden in the lease, or if the original tenant violates it in any way. So even if you are being a great tenant, if the other tenant messes up, you're kicked out as well. The best way to avoid these problems with subleasing is to talk to the original tenant as well as the property manager or the landowner in order to get your name on the original agreement, so that way you both are on the lease. Number 7. Meet your landlord in person. Once the tour is arranged and you are ready to go see the rental, you should meet the actual landlord, the homeowner, the person that has all the rights to the property. A potential scammer will avoid the chance to show you a place or any what would be considered normal interactions, including property tours, lease signings, anything that a legitimate landlord would want to be there for. Unless, of course, you're working with a known property management company. 8. Be aware of the middleman scam. The middleman scam is one of the most common scams out there, especially on sites like Craigslist and anything that has classifieds. Basically, it goes like this. You see this awesome property, it looks gorgeous, it's at a great price, and you call or message the person and they say that they're the ones that handles everything for the property owners. Usually the property is legit, but they don't actually have access to it. Instead, these scammers find these properties on other real estate platforms such as Realtor.com, Zillow, and other sites like that, even from the MLS possibly. What they do is they take the pictures, they download them off the sites, and then they also take the description and post it into the description on Craigslist, Facebook, etc. They insist on collecting the first month's rent, the deposit, etc. Things that might actually seem reasonable, but then they disappear with your money. Unfortunately, rental frauds on Craigslist and Facebook are incredibly common, and they are not going to disappear anytime soon. According to a study of understanding Craigslist scams, about 29,000 scam listings were discovered in over 20 cities within a 141-day period. As you can see, that's a crazy number. So yeah, stay away from the middleman scams. 9. Do your research. Luckily today we have the internet, and the internet is like an elephant. It never forgets a thing. There are different websites, chats, Facebook, Google reviews, etc., where people will give their honest feedback on anyone and anything. So prior to renting an apartment from someone, make sure to do your homework and run a basic search on the internet. You can do this by Googling the landlord's name, email address, property address, etc. Also, while searching for a place to rent, make sure to do a reverse image search. This is a simple search that can be done on Google. You can save a photo of the property and then search this picture to find the same or similar results. Sometimes you'll do this and see the property listed in another city, country, state, and this is because the scammers simply steal pictures of the existing property and place them on different websites under different things, so that way it can't be as easily traced. Also, if there is a real estate company or agent that represents a particular landlord, make sure to read their reviews and feedback regarding on how they handle business. If you can't find any information on these people at all, that can be a red flag. 10. Check the current market prices. Always research the current market price for rentals that you're interested in a particular area. It will give you a basic understanding for what price is reasonable for the particular place that you are considering. This simple trick will ensure that any place that has a weirdly low price will look suspicious to you, rather than you jumping on it being like, take all my money! And you won't end up giving your money up for a place that simply does not exist. 11. On your contract, if you do decide to sign a lease, make sure that the rental prices match up. There are some really bad landlords out there that are legit, that actually own the property, but because you're not paying attention, they add an extra number to your rent amount. So before signing that lease, make sure to double check everything to make sure that there isn't anything put in there on purpose that they think you're just going to read over. An example of this can be, say, a landlord decides to rent a property to you for $1,200. You guys are going through the paperwork, and as you're not paying attention, he changed that $1,200 to $1,800. If you miss this detail and sign that contract, you are in huge trouble, because you basically agreed to pay another price and you are going to be held to pay that price or get evicted. So always make sure to read your lease before signing. And of course, pay extra close attention to any numbers, especially the monthly price. 12. Check whether the platform you are on verifies its users or not. There is a huge difference between renting a place that just has advertisements and a place that actually verifies its people before renting to you. There's a huge difference between renting a place from simple advertisements and a place that actually verifies its people before you guys get connected. When you stumble on a website that offers you to deal with potential landlords that are not verified in any way, no one will be able to ensure your security of your transactions. And you also don't always have to go to a website. You can always talk to a local property management company to make sure that the person is verified. One of the benefits to working with a property management company like the one at Country Air is that all the landlords, they're already verified that they own the property and they've already taken all the necessary steps before renting the property to you. 13. Talk to current or previous tenants. This will allow you to get a better understanding of the landlord, to make sure that they are somebody that's reliable and that they are somebody that has done good by their tenants in the past. Some landlords will be more than happy to give you good references, whereas with others you might have to do a little bit of research on your own to find out a little bit more about this person. In any case, talking to the previous tenants or current tenants gives you a better understanding to who your potential property manager or landlord is. You can also learn how easy they are to contact, how well they respond to requests, and what kind of person they are in general. 14. Those that are ready to make a deal with no background, they're probably scammers. You gotta understand, tenants are not the only ones that need to feel safe. The landlords have to feel safe too. That's why landlords will typically run a background check and check the credit of their potential tenants. When your potential landlord doesn't care about screening or references or anything like that, and is just rushing to sign the lease and get your deposit, This is a huge red flag, which should tell you that you should be careful about renting out this place. Now, you've gotten a lot of information on what to do to avoid potential scams, but what happens if you do end up getting scammed? There are a few simple things that you can do if you have been a victim to a rental scam. You can call the Federal Trade Commission Consumer Response Center toll-free hotline 1-877 FTC HELP, which is 1-877-382-4357. After that, you file a complaint on the Internet Crime Complaint Center. You can call the police, give them the details regarding the situation you encountered and the person that turned out to be the scammer. You're also going to want to connect with a legal advisor or a lawyer. Then, to help protect other people from getting scammed, make sure to leave a negative review so people know to be careful. Now you understand a little bit more about rental scams, ways to avoid them, and ways to get help. I hope you all enjoyed this video and that it helped you in some way. If it did, please make sure to hit that like button and comment what your favorite tip in this video was. I hope you all have a great day, stay safe out there, and have a good one.